Let's go to Skype. We're a video show. Let's see a picture of Phil Barber. He's the Raiders beat writer for the Santa Rosa Press-Democrat. How are you, Phil?
Hey, Phil.
Doing great. Can you even see me? I haven't done a lot of this.
Yeah, we can see you.
Skyping.
Yeah, absolutely. You look great.
In fact,
Unbelievable.
can't you see yourself?
There I am. I didn't recognize myself with the face paint.
Well, let me help you out a little bit. Lower your chin just a little bit. We don't want to look up your nose, okay? There you go. Now we can see the full face of you.
Hey.
We're going to ask you, Les just made a point that he thinks that even though Jack Del Rio has tended to run a vanilla defense when he was here, that he's going to put all-out pressure on Peyton Manning. Do you believe that that's going to be the Oakland-Denver game plan against Manning and the Broncos?
I don't know. I don't know how confident I would be putting all-out blitzes against Peyton Manning, especially with Raiders personnel. I don't know. It would be tempting fate. Let's put it that way. But what are they going to do? Because the weakness of the Raiders this year has been their pass defense, and clearly that's the red flag coming into this game. So if there were a time when Jack Del Rio was going to sort of go outside the playbook, maybe this would be it. It just kind of seems like a case of damned if they do and damned if they don't this week.
So what do they do to beat? How do the Raiders beat the Broncos other than Jack Del Rio's revenge, not the right word, Jack Del Rio's motivation to beat his team that he's been with the last 3 years, the Raiders wanting, after being corralled by the Broncos so many times over the past several years. I mean, what is going to be the way that the Raiders can figure out to beat the Broncos?
Maybe try to shut down the airport with a bomb scare or something like that. I don't know if they've tried that one yet.
Phil, don't say that. You're going to be investigated if you say stuff like that.
Yeah, just kidding, FBI. But this is going to be a tough one for the Raiders, and I think that you're right that their only shot is somehow making Peyton Manning uncomfortable. That isn't easy to do. I think they might have to try to do it with base pressure and the occasional blitz. Hope that Khalil Mack, who is already seen as kind of an up-and-coming superstar, continues to take a step. He looked really good last week against the Bears, I thought. And then try to outscore the Broncos. And I know that doesn't look easy. The Broncos defense has been fantastic, apparently, so far this year. But the Raiders offense it's been good at times. In fact, it's been very good at times. It's been inconsistent. But I don't know. Maybe they try to get into a bit of a shooting match and outscore these guys.
Yeah, I thought a couple of weeks ago I told Les that I thought Murray, after he had his big game, that Murray was the up-and-coming running back, and now he's kind of backed off in the last couple of days. He's had a couple of turnovers. Yeah. But I love Derek Carr and the Amari Cooper combination. I think Crabtree's been a help. So
well, let me follow
I think
up
you're
on
onto something there. That if they could, like last year, they got up in front of the Broncos and actually could have won that game. If they were to actually score 28, 31 points in this game, they could win the game.
Sure, and as we all know, that's easier said than done with the way the Denver defense is playing. But I do think that that's what they have to hope for, thrive off of the home crowd, which is actually very energized these days. You know that Oakland can be a very good crowd, but they've been demoralized some over the last decade. But fans are really excited about this team. It's going to be a fantastic atmosphere out there.
All right, Phil, so they get off to a 2-1 start, and we're starting to think, hey, maybe there's a revival in Oakland. Maybe the Raiders can make some noise this year. And then they go and they lay the egg in Chicago last weekend. So we know they're better. How much better are they really?
Not quite as much, I think, as a lot of people allowed themselves to believe. They're definitely better. They're definitely on an upward trajectory. It's a team that's making good choices as opposed to bad choices that we saw for so long. But I think people got a little bit ahead of themselves and thought, they've got this great young quarterback. They've got this brilliant rookie receiver. They think they have the running back of the future. Man, this is all going to come together, and this is going to be a team fighting for the playoffs. They might be headed in that direction, but it's going to take a couple of rungs to get there. It wasn't going to be a giant leap. And, if you look at the games they've won this year, they beat the Browns, They beat the Ravens when the Ravens didn't seem to be playing that well. So, they're getting there, but I think they're incrementally better than last year.
Phil, is this going to be the second time that will be the last time I come to Oakland for a football game involving the Broncos? That sounds like a strange question, but I'm old enough to remember, oh, well, this will be the last time we'll ever see Oakland and Denver play in Oakland, and then came back. And so, and I guess part two of that question is, Mark Davis seems to be trying to flex his muscle a little bit and say, and act more like, I'm going to be like my dad. Are you getting that feeling? And two, is this the last time that we're going to see the Raiders and the Broncos?
Well, I agree with you that Mark is trying to flex his muscles a little bit on the stadium issue. I think that he recognizes that he'll never be Al Davis when it comes to running a football team and, being hands-on with personnel and things like that. But I do think that the stadium is where he's trying to make his mark. And my gut feeling is he'd really prefer to stay in Oakland. There's a lot of factors lined up against him there, and I do think that he's perfectly willing to move the team if that's where the deal seems to be. I think there was even some news from the owners' meeting today where Mark Davis said that he'd be willing to work with a partner towards getting a deal, whether that meant working with the Chargers or maybe even a financial partner. I'm not sure, but it's not. He's still not talking about working with Kroenke, though, is he? I don't believe so. I believe that there still seems to be the two different tracks down there, if I'm not mistaken. But Woody, I think you're good for at least another year or two coming out here. Okay, because I'm going to stay in Oakland. I usually love coming to Oakland because I stay in San Francisco. But I'm going to stay in Oakland this year, and you've got In-N-Out Burgers over there. That's why I stay in San Francisco.
Why don't you stay at Phil's house in Santa Rosa?
Oh, I love Santa Rosa. What
Phil got an extra room?
Actually, the house is in Napa though, so I mean it's even closer to Oakland. For you to get down there pretty quick.
Oh, I'm going to Napa.
He's going to Napa.
Yeah, I'm actually going to come stay there. But you know what's funny about that? And so I think the Raiders have a legitimate point about the 50, and we'll ask you about it. Not putting the 50 in gold on the field. But that's such a lousy field. Why would you want to mess it up with gold? I would have put silver out there. If I wanted to make a stand, I would have made the 50s in silver. But that Santa Rosa you're talking about is just as close, if not closer, to Oakland than it is San Francisco, that there should be a shared stadium. That would have been the simple solution because people could go from Oakland. And the 49ers and the NFL did the Raiders wrong, I believed.
A shared stadium was certainly the best idea. I totally agree with you. I mean, in this day and age, that kind of financial undertaking, share it, find a partner. I think the 49ers outlook on that was something along the lines of, would you want to do business with Al Davis, who was still alive and running the show then? And I think that scared them off a little bit. But for the fans, for NFL fans in the Bay Area, that would have been fantastic.
Phil, we want to read your stuff for the next few days leading up to the game. What's your Twitter handle?
Skinny_post.
Okay.
My two favorite people, I have to leave you with this, were Al Locasal, because he wouldn't even let me come in the parking lot of the Raiders. and I really liked Al and had a lot of back and forth with Al's. But I got to tell you, the last time I saw Al, I was standing out in the parking lot at the Coliseum. He got out of his long black limousine. He looked at me. I said, "Hi, Al." And he said, "You're still an ass." And he walked off. And I thought those were his last words to me, and they were appropriate.
Absolutely perfect. I don't think he got the chance to tell all the rest of us that, but I'm sure he would.
Phil, thanks again. We'll be reading you in the Santa Rosa Press-Democrat. Thanks.
Thanks a lot. Woody, call me when you're in Napa.
I would do that.
Yeah, start cleaning out that extra bedroom.
I'll call you from Opus One.
Hey, all of our
See you guys.
See you. Thanks, Phil. All of our guests brought to you by Papa John's, and they're running a Broncos special through the rest of the season. It's called the Broncos 18 Special. 2 large, 3-topping pizzas for $18. You have to use the promo code.
Would you repeat that? I kind of missed that.
I will if they bring it back for me.
Yeah, I'd like to know.
No. Start from the top again.
I want to make sure.
Top. All right. Order Papa John's Broncos 18 Special today. 18 because Peyton owns the Papa John's. So you get 2 large, 3 topping pizzas
for $18. That's
$18.
$16.
You have to use the promo code Broncos
You have to-
18.
Rocks win.
Broncos 18. You have to do it online. Go to the newpapajohns.com.
That's a great deal.